Hi, welcome back to Lykz Tells All. Last week we did friendship breakups. After friendship breakups, there are apologies or there's not apologies. And I felt like it was only right to do a follow-up episode of kind of what it feels like to wait for the apology you might never receive. I know that's really hard to hear, but I am someone who definitely can relate with you guys and kind of feel what you're feeling. I know what it's like to receive the apology, and I know what it's like to not receive one. So let's just feel this together and dive in. After a situation happens where you think you should get an apology, and then the next day you don't, and then the next day and the next day, it starts to feel really strange. And this can be either big or small problems. Even from somebody just not liking your shirt and you think, hey, you should say sorry for that, and they don't, or somebody traumatizes your life and they don't say sorry. Waiting for an apology you might never receive is probably one of the hardest things. Because yes, you're waiting for closure, but you're also rethinking this whole person that you're wanting the apology from all over. Like this person, one, already hurt you, and then now is so entitled to just not say sorry. You're also probably thinking like, I would never do this. Whether it's a stranger, a friend, a family member, literally anyone, why do they get to hurt you and not apologize for it? And also then like what's going through their mind? Do they really think they're in the right? Do they just not want to apologize? Do they not want to take accountability? Do they, like, what is it? And you'll never know. All you can do is know your truth. You know what happened. They know what happened, but in their mind, they made the truth into what pleases them. It's hard because you're wanting the I'm sorry for them to take accountability for their actions and for them to see that it's wrong. Like, hey, you don't get to do that. You don't get to treat people like that. So when they don't say I'm sorry, it's just them not caring about your feelings. They don't care that they hurt you. They don't care that you're hurting from what they said or did. They believe that they did no wrong in the situation. I am a firm believer that if a situation goes south and there are two people both hurt, then both should say sorry. The blame doesn't just have to go to one person. Both can say, hey, I'm so sorry I hurt you. Let's get over this. Depends how bad the hurt was and how authentic the apology is. But I know in the moment it sucks. I'm going to talk about a situation that honestly I waited years for an apology and I did receive, but makes me laugh now. In a past episode, I talked about the car guy that cheated on me with his girl best friend. My friends at the time kind of went to their side, and I don't want to say sides because that is so high school, but it was high school, so they ended up being on her side. And from then, I began to get bullied from said girls. Honestly, it was just girl, and you know who you are. Looking back now, she used a situation that she could just feed off and belittle me for, even though it honestly just didn't concern her. It's a bully's finest, which I have received multiple apologies from said bully, but then her actions don't change from what she said in the apology. So meaning that apology was not authentic. Just to put it out there, and I'm sorry, da-da-da-da, means you see what you did wrong and you shouldn't do it again. Anywho, that's what I'm sorry I did receive, and things didn't change, so boo-hoo. Back to car guy. I was more sad that someone I really did think was my first love could let people treat me like that. To my knowledge, he wasn't saying anything poorly about me, but it was the fact that he was letting it go on. And I mean, shit, he literally, he did cheat on me. However, for a very long time, I waited for an apology from him. And it took years. And then I got one. But the apology to me wasn't authentic, and that is my personal opinion. But he is a narcissist, which means they will only say sorry when things truly go south in their life, when they have nothing but themselves and their thoughts. The thoughts that are saying, hey, actually, you did mess up. Hey, actually, you kind of fucked everything else in your life up. So I should just go and say I'm sorry, even though I don't really mean it. Which a lot of the times when people don't apologize for their actions can correlate to them being a narcissist. Not saying they are, and not saying that every single person that doesn't say they're sorry is one. Give me a little sippy. Guys, I got Dutch. It's so good. I got a shark attack with no coconut. Hate coconut, fun fact. I don't know what it is about me, But narcissists are known to not take accountability for their actions. They also are known to paint the picture of them being the victim. But we'll get into narcissists in a couple episodes actually, so stay tuned. Anywho, that is why I think his apology wasn't authentic. He lost her because he was him. He lost the next girl because he was himself, and then came crawling back to his high school girlfriend. Oh, that also glue the fuck up? Yeah, miss me with that shit. He said sorry for letting the people do what they did and his actions. And I did accept the apology. And I am grateful he did. But that apology that I waited years for was a joke. Him apologizing wasn't a joke. It was just the fact that it made me laugh. It made me laugh because high school me honestly wanted to die. Like, I just wanted, like, I wanted that I'm sorry, but I mean, I also wanted to be chosen. But boo fucking who. But I waited for that I'm sorry. And when I got it, it was too late. It was too late because I knew my value. I knew that I would never let anyone treat me like that again. But I'm telling you guys this story because I know how it feels to be at a point in your life where you need that I'm sorry. You feel like it's the only thing that's going to help you. And then you just stop waiting. Damn, I should really take this advice myself. Now that's a guy telling you he's sorry. I know everyone's different with their best friends and their guys, but for me, my best friends come first. And most of the time, if me and a friend hurt each other, we say we're sorry. And if you don't, you either don't care about that friendship or that person. And the last episode, I mentioned a friendship breakup that truly tore me apart. It hurt in multiple ways. I think it hurt so much because I still love her so much. It is so hard to unlove someone or uncare about someone, no matter what they do. Actually, depends. But through this breakup, I was hearing things, she was hearing things, and I think just along the way, we started hurting each other, which we did end up saying, I'm sorry for hurting each other. She said that was never her intention. We're just growing apart and she loves me. And I said that I will still always cheer her on. I love her. In no way was I trying to hurt her. And I did admit to the fact that I might have hurt her because I was hurting. When you are waiting for the I'm sorry, you should also be taking a step back to see what maybe you should be saying I'm sorry for, if there are any reasons. And if there's not, then perfect. But I knew I wasn't perfect in this situation, but I was really hurt, and that doesn't make it okay. And I said I was sorry. But even then, both of us saying we hurt each other, we love each other, we're growing apart, still hurt. The actions that were still made still hurt. I think everyone's heard this saying, but it's saying sorry is just glue. If you break a plate and then glue it back together, it's not fixed. There's damages, but it definitely helps. So when you hurt someone and you say, I'm sorry, it doesn't change the fact of what had happened. There's been many times in life that I've had to say sorry to people because I've hurt them, and I hope they have grown from them, but I did that. And you got to take accountability when you do hurt someone. When people don't say sorry and they kind of just ghost away, take their ghosting, take their silence as your closure. Do you really care about those 2 words when that's how they care about you? And again, I know that's really easier said than done, but it's true. The examples that I told you guys show that an I'm sorry won't fix what we think it's gonna fix. We want the damage they just caused us to go away. We don't want to feel that pain anymore. But like I said, that I'm sorry is not going to do it. It will help you realize you don't want that in your life. You don't want people like that in your life. With taking their silence as your answer, it will help you grow from the situation. It might honestly help you stop feeling the hurt that they caused you. I know this is the hardest thing, but honestly, just saying it for what it is going to help you. They don't care about you. They don't want to say sorry. They don't see their actions are wrong. They don't care. One of my good friends is dealing with a heartache, and I just keep having to tell her, the silence is your answer. They don't see you crying about the way they hurt you. Maybe they even do. And if they're still not saying I'm sorry, they're clinically insane. Now, there's been an I'm sorry that I did receive, and it really helped. And it was honestly only a few short months after the situation occurred. And it was nice because this situation, I stood up for myself. Not that I knew that I didn't do any wrong, but that I knew what I thought was right, if that makes any sense. This situation, I love them so much. They love me. I think it's just sometimes hard, especially when life gets hard, overwhelming in a lot of ways. They ended up hurting me because they were hurting from their own life. And I apologized in ways that I could. And I will always, in every situation, find ways that I can say sorry. But then there was a point that it was just all on me. And when I know that it's not all on me, I am not going to take accountability for the whole thing or be the one to blame. That kind of goes into gaslighting in a way, which I think we're going to talk about a lot in our narcissist episode. But many times, the people that you're waiting to hear an I'm sorry from, they're waiting to tell you because they want you to say I'm sorry. They want you to say I'm sorry so they don't have to. And there's been many times I do, like many, many, many. But I think this was one of the first that I kind of just took a step back and I was like, no, I did say sorry to A, B, da, 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 but I'm not going to this one. I didn't do all this. And then actions were made and I was very hurt. And then a few short months later, I did receive an I'm sorry text, which I loved and really did help because there was an explanation. I do think it was a very authentic I'm sorry. Life gets hard and life gets super overwhelming. Sometimes you really do think what you're thinking is right. But when you start to realize that, hey, it's not, say that I'm sorry. I know earlier I said it's too late, but it honestly isn't ever too late. It's too late about Car Guy because I'm like, hey, bud, I moved on. I'm good. I'm way better. But if you cause someone pain and you haven't yet said I'm sorry, no time's the limit. It is really hard when you're waiting for an I'm sorry from someone that you really did care about. Now I know it's easier to say, well, fuck them, or I don't care if they do say sorry or not, when it's a stranger. But when it is someone you care about, it's hard. I'm waiting on an I'm sorry, and I do think I deserve one. Will I get one? Probably fucking not. But again, that goes into the next episode. It's just hard because I don't really know. I just keep yapping to you guys, honestly. I might be going in circles about this. I just want you guys to know that I've been there. I'm honestly there right now. But I know what it's like. And I'm always here for someone to talk to. And mainly, just don't wait for that I'm sorry if it means that it's preventing you from growing from the situation. And if it's affecting you and your mental health, it is not worth it. They ain't worth it. Again, I really should be taking my advice. So stand up for yourself. If you think you deserve an I'm sorry, then yeah, wait for that. Your life doesn't have to stop waiting for that. And don't say sorry because you want the situation to get over with either. No one likes conflict, but at the end of the day, it takes a lot of courage and self-love to just take a step back, say, no beef. I do think you should say you're sorry. But if you're not, I'm just going to move on with my life. And that's really all you can do. Life is about growing and learning and just being the best you can be, or even just being better than the day before. Sometimes the I'm sorry will help, and sometimes it won't. I know, though, that it's not worth losing yourself over. I will see you next Wednesday, and please remember your worth and that you do deserve the world and or that apology. Make sure to follow my Instagram at Lykz Tells All and listen on Spotify as well. Bye, guys.